macro. Then tell me his methodologies. One is he is a structural functionalist. He focused more on the macro structures of the society. Okay, larger institutions. Okay, then okay, he countered the Britishers that Indian village is a static portion. Okay, then main thing you are forgetting. He is a student of who? G.S. Ghurye. Okay, but what was the main key difference between G.S. Ghurye and M.N. Srinivas? Book view versus field view. So G.S. Ghurye subscribed to which perspective? G.S. Ghurye. Book view. Okay. G.S. Ghurye was known for Indology, that is studying the Indian society through the textbook of Brahmanical Sanskritic textbooks like Rig Vedas, okay, manuscripts and all of that. Okay. Apart from that, he did focus on, write down all these points if you haven't, okay, focus on field study. Okay. Not only Sanskritization, he also gave new terms like Westernization. Okay. Done? Okay, what else? Acha, what are the major books written by M.N. Srinivas? Main book gote thila. Look at your notes. Religion and Society among the Cougs of South India. Okay. So he studied the कौन study करते through that book. So he studied the caste system in Indian villages. What is the name of the village? Kurg. Okay. Kurg. AC बंद है और ठीक है चल जाओ. Okay. अच्छा. So what are the major criticism of M.N. Srinivas? What are the major criticism of M.N. Srinivas? So he focused on the point of view of the upper caste Brahmin perspective. Okay, what else? He ignored the caste conflict because he was a structural functionalist. He did ignore the conflict aspect of Marx. Okay, what else? Okay, so he did a limited study of certain particular village. Okay, and he could try to generalize it as a universal aspect across Indian regions. Okay, so give the heading. Give the heading. Acha, what is Sanskritization? Did I cover that? Yes. Okay, so what is Sanskritization?
It is a process by which a local scholar tribe is also able to read the text, the process.
No, you are getting wrong there. Okay.
First, peoples are acquiring the traditional
Lower caste as well as tribes. Okay, caste structure is completely different than the tribe structure. Okay, so the process of Sanskritization is emphasizing on both the lower caste as well as the tribes. Okay, so they are accusing or they are imitating the tradition, customs, cultures, rituals of upper caste Brahmins. Okay, as well as he did talk about Dvija. So who are these Dvija people? Twice born. So though, acha, another point I add to that, initially M.N. Srinivas focused on the concept of Brahmanization. But later on, use the term Sanskritization, which is a broad concept than Brahmanization. Okay, because Brahmanization was imitation of the upper caste Brahmins only, but the process of Sanskritization did focus on the culture, custom, traditions of Dvija group altogether. This Dvija can be Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even upper caste Shudras. Okay. So among the caste we have subcaste. So it is essentially focusing on this upper subcaste of Vaishyas. Okay. Not exactly. There are so many perspectives. Later on, we'll be covering caste. Okay, caste of a different perspective. Achhe. Other thinkers will be giving different perspectives. Okay, Jante caste is based on varna or caste system. These are different. Acha, tell me, M.N. Srinivas, did he focus on the varna system or did he focus on the caste system? And what is the key difference between varna and caste? So Vanna here mostly they focus on the racial aspects. Okay, race they equate it to the skin color. Okay, so mostly according to the Vanna system, it is what the upper caste will be mostly Aryans who are fair colored. The lower caste are essentially the indigenous people or the original inhabitants of India. They are mostly dark in color and belong to the lower caste. Okay, and it is mostly what rigid or flexible. Rigid. Okay, you cannot change your caste. Once you get birth, then you are assigned a particular varna or caste, and you will carry on your occupation accordingly. But in the caste system, which is the focus of M.N. Srinivas, okay, caste system, write down. His focus was caste system. But G.S. Ghurye did talk about the varna system of caste. Okay, so he didn't say that, there is flexibility in the caste system. But M.N. Srinivas, through the process of Sanskritization, will focus that there can be a change or cultural shift in the caste system through the process of Sanskritization. How? You forgot the most important point. The process of Sanskritization is not a structural process, according to M.N. Srinivas, but it is a cultural process. How? Mostly, the process of Sanskritization is a change or shift in the ritual position or status, which is only a change in the cultural aspect. Okay, the Varna system is mostly focused on the structural aspect, which is very rigid. Okay, Manoj, is social mobility, when we read in paper 1, we did talk about two types of societies. One is closed, rigid society, one is flexible society. So when we equate class, which can be acquired through merit or achievement, is mostly a more flexible society, right? Where there can be flexible amount or increased amount of social mobility, right? Kintu seiti kon habo caste system जोटा कि गोटे stratified society, inequality persists across generations. Okay, it is highly unequal, so it is a rigid social structure. Social mobility will be less. That was the concept of G.S. Ghurye. But M.N. Srinivas will say that caste system is relatively flexible. You can change your ritual status in the caste structure by acquiring the process of Sanskritization. Understood? He did not focus on the change in the structure, but the caste position. Understood? Okay, that is a key difference. Okay, ସେଇଟା ମନେ ରଖିବାର ଅଛି Sanskritization. According to M.N. Srinivas, Sanskritization was only a cultural change and not a structural change. এইটা ହିଁ ହେଉଛି sociology good hold. Okay, if you miss out these points in your answer sheet, then you will get lesser marks. Okay. Acha, where can you see the process of Sanskritization? Koti koti evident achi. Evidence of Telis in Odisha, Yadavas in Bihar, Lingayats in Karnataka. Koda? UP, Bihar, because at that point of time it was, single entity. Okay, so give the heading. Acha. Apart from that, write down the view of Yogendra Singh on Sanskritization. Okay, so he will be giving a different or contradictory view as compared to M.N. Srinivas. Okay, write down. He will focus on two levels of Sanskritization. Okay. One is historical perspective, one is contextual perspective. Okay. First understand and then write down. Okay. Once you are done, let me know. Okay. Done till this much? Historical here means, according to Yogendra Singh, the entire history of India is based on the process of Sanskritization, which is nothing but a social change in India. Okay. But here, in the contextual level, he will focus that Yogendra Singh says that the process of Sanskritization is very limited and it is a very localized process. Okay. It happens in only significant places. Okay. So write down under historical perspective. Indigenous social change. Indigenous social change. What is indigenous means? That means from within. From within. Okay. Let me just explain you shortly. The process of westernization initiated due to the what? Colonial impact in India, right? So it was an external force that created social change in India. But this kind of process like Sanskritization is a social change from within the Indian society. Okay. So he said that it is an indigenous social process. Second point, write down. The process of Indian history has led to changes in many castes. Okay. That means there are two types of Sanskritization. One can be a common point of history. Okay. One can be local. Okay. Under contextual, write down. It is a contemporary process. It is a contemporary process and not a uniform phenomenon. And not uniform. That means not applicable throughout India. Okay. Not uniform across India. But here this is uniform. Uniform history. That means common history of India. Done? Okay. Acha. Write down the factors responsible okay, factors responsible for the loss of Sanskritization process. Tell me what can be the answer to this. Think. Sanskritization means what? Imitation of the upper caste rituals. So what can essentially stop it? Syllabus ja baba. Westernization, modernization. Okay, if we are acquiring the Western ideas or the modern ideas, can we stick back to this belief system? Acha, Indian society has social reforms introduced. Why? Indian society was suffering through phases of social evils, right? Like superstitions. There were belief systems like the widow have to be shaved, you know, and before the girls reach the age of puberty, the father has to get her married off. Otherwise, the father is committing certain kind of sins. So these were the levels of superstition, you know, prevalent in Indian society at that point of time. Once we acquired the process of modernization, westernization, okay, we laid back all this process. Okay, write down modernization, westernization, modern education. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Okay. और क्या हो सकता है? Think in the contemporary times, what are the, you know, practicing methods which is stopping us to go back to this Brahmanic supremacy and rituals? Will you stick to certain kind of rituals which are prohibiting your day-to-day life? Yes, no. बहुत टाइम रेमती हो जाए इवन पेरेंट्स यू नो दे लूज देयर लाइव्स इंडियन जो ब्राह्मण सिस्टम रे गोटे ट्रेडिशन होची दैट यू नो द कोन जे बड़ पुओ थिबो द सन विल परफॉर्म ऑल द ड्यूटीज बट व्हाट हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ कोविड मेनी पीपल कुड नॉट कम बैक एनआरआईज ओके बॉडी वाज नॉट इवन गिवन टू द फैमिली राइट सो से टाइम रे सब कौन हला दैट रिचुअल was kept in the back seat. Okay. So think of the modern contemporary changes that has stopped Sanskritization. Okay. I've given you 3 pointers, add more pointers. Contemporary changes. Add contemporary changes. Okay. At least write 5. Okay. So you can write down the criticism of M.N. Srinivas Sanskritization. What can be the criticism? इतना सारा पढ़ चुके हैं, थोड़ा creative बनो. First thing is he focused on the structural functionalism aspect. So you will say that he did not focus on the conflict aspect. Okay, what else? He had the views of upper caste Brahminical society. So he neglected the lower caste. Okay, what else? Acha, this process of Sanskritization did focus on the superiority of which caste? Brahmins. So he completely neglected the customs or the tradition of the lower caste or the tribal culture. So that you can see superior inferior complex. Okay, और क्या हो सकता है? और क्या हो सकता है? Think. You can write all this criticism of Marx. Okay, Marx or jaha jaha criticism thila towards structural functionalist, you can add all those points. Okay, be smart enough to use it. Okay, and main thing Sanskritization ro kaun hobo? No structural change. That means limited social mobility. Though the process of Sanskritization said that through this process there can be social mobility of the lower caste or the tribes. But was it a real or actual change happening on the field? No. It had limited application. Why? Structural change किसी होना थला. Understood? So be wise to write all these points. Okay. Next, write down westernization. So this was the term coined by M.N. Srinivas. Okay. Secondly, M.N. Srinivas defined westernization whenever you are quoting someone, be specific, give quotes. Okay, the characteristic changes brought about brought about in society and culture as a result of over 150 years of British rule. Okay, this is a short form. Okay, you can end the quotes. Okay, so next point, write down. Westernization covered changes across various fields like technology, institutions, and values. So basically, impact of West gote question deyithili mone che. You know, this thing is not directly mentioned. Okay, impact of West on Indian society is a topic in OPSC syllabus, but it is indirectly covered through UPSC syllabus like this. Okay, so be wise to use this term, Westernization, as coined by M.N. Srinivas. So you can give the views of M.N. Srinivas. Okay, impact of West or mostly British rule of 150 years in India. Acha, tell me from definitions. I said changes across levels. What are the levels or spheres? First is, definition देखो कौन दीजिए. Array, just I defined now. 3 levels. One is technology. Okay, then institution. Then values. So what are the change in the value system as introduced by the colonizers? Tell me. Rationalism. Firstly, rationalism. We started the social reform movements in India by rationalizing the Indian religious systems. How? We didn't just view the Indian society or the traditional religion through the perspectives of Brahmins, but we started questioning what the religious texts are actually saying. So we started interpreting the religious text through the prism of rationality. Okay, we focus on the facts. Okay, Vedas bhi jodi padle, we focus on the scientific analysis or the interpretation of the religious text. And that's how we could get away with the religious superstitions prevailing in Indian society at that point of history. Understood? Okay, aao kahamba. Egalitarianism. What is this? That means all are equal. So we started giving equal status to both men and women, right? Democracy. Very good. Liberty. Fraternity. Freedom. Okay, so you can add numerous values to this. Acha. The changes introduced in the Indian institution, tell me what can they be? Indian institution of first con changes la. Okay, very good. Education. What are the major changes in education? Did you get your modern India notes? Yes. So basically, whenever you describe about education, you can talk about two educational systems. Okay, one is the Hindu system, one is the Islamic state. If you remember, I have given you short notes that focused on the primary and the higher education. So try to mention those names here. Okay, so we had Pathsala system, which focused on the Guru Shishya Parampara, right? So that you can show how the British did impact the education system before and after the advent of Britishers in India. Okay, agru Gurukul system thila pore kono change hela. It became more modern, more scientific, more technical, right? Before, we used to focus more on the literature part, right? Literature, nature, and so on. But once the Britishers started inventing or transforming the Indian system, we started the technical education, science, study of physics, chemistry, and all of those. Okay, geography, distance measurement, all these terms. Okay. Apart from that, institution रे कौन हबो? Political, law. I'm just giving you a broad concept. Do write down all of this. Screen कर दियो पूरा. Modern India रो text books कूड़ा को screen out करके write down the keywords. Okay. और कौन है पर वो changes? Administration. Achha, do you know that Supreme Court of India is actually the gift of Britishers to us? Why? Because unified justice system, uniform law and order was the gift of Britishers to India. Agru seta nothila. How? Khap panchayat used to rule. Okay. Region specific thila. Village headsmen used to deliver the justice. Okay. So that was unified law hela seta. Okay. What else? Administration asla, like police, civil services. That means under this you will write down the new employment opportunities that were introduced to the Indian society. Okay, what happened? Anything funny? Okay, apart from that, you can also give the changes across agriculture, industry, and the service sector. So service sector was not relevant then, so you can give the focus on both agriculture and agri and industry. So you can give the focus on these two also. Apart from that, acha, technological, what are the changes? First is ICT. What is that? Communication. Communication ne kaun kod nova introduce itla? Postal system. Okay. Railways. Right? So you can add all these things. Okay. Apart from that, there are also certain new changes. Like social reform movement. Do you think it is a gift of Britishers to Indians? Yes, no, how? If yes, then how? Yes. Which is nothing but Indian nationalism. এটা টিকে পরে পরে অ্যাড করিব এটা ইনিশিয়ালি লেখিবনি যেতବେଳେ westernization pointers দিয়াব এটা পর points পাই I'm just explaining you. Okay. Indian nationalism, what is that? If I ask you to define Indian nationalism, how will you define it? Layman terms explain kara. Did the concept of nation exist before the advent of Britishers in India? Did India as a nation did exist? No. Okay. If you see all the Hindu rulers and even after them the Mughal, okay. So it was region specific. Jetabale jo war hela, jo area asla, so it used to be taken as the continent of India. India as a nation or a political entity didn't exist before the advent of Britishers. Okay. Social reform movements hela. Social reform movements mein kemti hela? Who did it? Who initiated it? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, right? So, what was his key contribution and what led to the formation of Raja Ram Mohan Roy? Explain me. Ground reality explain karo. So, basically, it was the English educated middle class who created or who started the social reform movements in India. Yes or no? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, they were introduced to this modern education system, which was brought down by the Britishers. Only because they could get the exposure to the modern ideas like liberty, freedom, rule of law, and all of that, they could develop this rationalized point of view. Okay. And so he said, we should do away with the system of sati. Okay, it doesn't cater to the Indian needs in the present context, right? So Indian nationalism was initiated through the process of westernization. Right down. Okay. And I got a question asipare the impact of westernization on Indian society. You can add all these points. Okay. एगुड़ा जो लिखिल ना या पूर्वर गोटे हेडिंग दे दियो इम्पैक्ट ऑफ वेस्टर्नाइजेशन. ओके गिव द हेडिंग इम्पैक्ट ऑफ वेस्टर्नाइजेशन. लिखो निजे टर्म से एक्सप्लेन करो कली तो. ओके अच्छा आउ कौन कौन हम आउ कौन कौन हम राइट डाउन impact of westernization under a social mobility. Okay write down social mobility reforms in education the likhi sache. Okay write down rationalization of rituals. Okay rationalization of acha out it impact on economic system. Okay write down impact on economic system. Under this you can give emphasis to agriculture and industry. Okay emphasis on economic changes, rationalization of rituals. Okay so ये सब जिन को तुमको एक्सप्लेन करार अच्छी हाउ एग्जैक्टली. ओके अच्छा under westernization write down westernization runs in opposite direction to Sanskritization. Do you agree? How? How? What is the difference between these two? Focus on the Western modern ideas. Focus on the traditional Sanskritic values. Okay, what else? Acha. Mostly if you see, this happened in the urban areas. Yes, no? Who are the first one to enjoy the benefits of education? Ebe bhi, jebe bhi kichhi modern ideas introduced हुए Indian society रे, who will first take the advantage? Suppose AI is been introduced or computers were introduced at one point of history. Who were the ones who could take the maximum advantage? The one in the urban areas. Okay, so mostly it is a urban phenomenon. And Sanskritization koti abo, more focus on tradition, mostly rural areas. Okay, acha, out a context achi. Do you think Sanskritization led to the development of Sanskritization? Sorry, do you think the process of Westernization, propelled the process of Sanskritization? That means, I'm saying, do you think Westernization lead to the growth of Sanskritization? Yes, no? Yes, no? Yes or no? No. Acha, if I tell you the introduction of modern means of transport and communication, it initiated or it furthered more the process of Sanskritization. Is it yes or no? The introduction of modern mode of transport and communication, that is whether through postal or through railways. Do you think it led to the development of Sanskritization? Think and tell me. Yes, no? Something must come up in your mind, either yes or a no. Think. Introduction of modern means of transportation. and communication. This is westernization, yes or no? It is the impact of Britishes to Indian society, yes? Okay. Suppose I told you that Sanskritization was limited to the rural areas. Okay. Acha, another thing, Sanskritization or did I discuss that the process of Sanskritization was not that evident in northern states like Punjab. You never had that Brahmanical supremacy across the regions like Punjab. Keeping Northline say influence. Mostly they were more influenced towards the Islamic traditions. Kind of advent of Islam say direction ho northwest, Peshawar region, okay, Sindh region. So they had more regional proximity to Punjab and regions like that as compared to the southern states. So Sanskritization was more prevalent in the southern states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and so on. Okay. So, through this introduction of modern means and communication, the idea of Sanskritization traveled throughout India. So, yes, westernization did lead to the growth of Sanskritization in India.
I would say through transportation, they started following the great
Yes,
traditions.
yes. See, modern means of transport and communication can be postal or railways. That means what? Idea of Sanskritization traveled. अच्छा दीटा कॉन्टेक्स्ट अच्छे गोटे है कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी देखेब हाउ बोथ आर डिफरेंट और कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी टू इच अदर एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो शो हाउ इट लीड्स टू द ग्रोथ ऑफ वन अनदर अच्छा आ गोटे क्वेश्चन आ गोटे एस्पेक्ट देखा डू यू थिंक Sanskritization leads to the growth of westernization? Yes, no? Yes, no? Do you think Sanskritization leads to the growth of westernization? If you remember Sudhi movement, okay, Arya Samaj, what did happen? So more modern ideas jitbade asila, there was more attack to the indigenous Hindu culture or tradition. So all this orthodox group in any religious community, they started defending their own culture. Okay, also did happen that some of the modern educated, though they got modernized in the outer appearance, they started clinging on to their traditional values. Understood? Please understand what I'm saying. Acha, tell me another question. Do you think a modern man is a westernized man? Do you think a westernized man is a modern man? Which is true? No. If yes, then tell me how. Please understand once more. Okay. Do you think that a Western man is a modern man? No. Give me some instance. If not, a Western man, okay, means what? Who clinges or who subscribe to the idea of Western norms. Okay. So somebody who may look, who may wear the Western clothes, do you think they might have the modern ideas as well? Not necessarily, right? But a modern man, that means who is sticking to the rationalized ethos. Modernization or westernization will be difference bujiba. Okay. A modern man can wear a traditional suit yet be modern. How? By subscribing to the modern ideas. Equality, freedom, gender equality, and so on. Please understand. Okay. Acha, come back to this question. Sanskritization, does Sanskritization leads to the growth of westernization? Yes. Okay. Jitbade westernization introduced hela, okay, that was firstly seen as a contradictory force. Eventually, westernization process led to the growth of Sanskritization through modern transport means and communication. And Sanskritization also led to westernization. How? Orthodox branch, write down, Orthodox Brahmin society, okay, too much clinging to their traditional roots, एटा को बुक रे नहीं सो राइट डाउन लो ट्रेडिशनल रूट्स एग्जांपल शुद्धि मूवमेंट either it can go two ways. Okay, it can be very violent or it can completely lead to the change. Acha, understand what did Ambedkar say about the caste system? He was like there should be complete annihilation of the caste system. Though I was born a Hindu, I will not die one. Okay, so he was completely against this caste system. ଯେତେବେଳେ କୋ ବି ଜିନିଷ extreme format ରେ ହେଇଯିବ ଦୁଇଟା ଜିନିଷ ହେବ either the same existing traditional roots will take a deeper root or else it will transform to a new complete ideology. Understood? So either it can lead to the complete transformation to the path of westernization or you will be sticking more back to the orthodox roots. Seithru kona haba? You will stick to more social levels. So it was the parameters of the orthodox Brahmins as a reaction to westernization. Be wise to give this kind of examples. So the best way in paper 2 is cover your modern India part, at least social reform movements. Say it. Okay. Next, write down. Acha. So you can write about westernization. Balse likhi pariba. Acha. Write another point. According to M.N. Srinivas, westernization was a cultural process only. According to M.N. Srinivas, the process of westernization is a cultural social change only and not a structural one. And not a structural one. Okay. Achha, another angle if you see, okay. Sanskritization means what? Acha, education was a gift or a privilege to which caste? Higher caste or the Brahmins. Why? Because most of the religious text, mane say time re jo Indian education system thila, it was mostly dominated by what? Religious interpretations, and it was written in Sanskritic language, which was the language of the Brahmins. Okay, mostly the lower caste stick to the vernacular language or regional language. So they didn't have the privilege to even understand or interpret this religious text. So they followed the orders or the rituals of the Brahmins. Whatever they said is right because they even don't know. Understood? So eventually, जेतबळे education system introduce हला कि new employment opportunities like civil services or army or bureaucracy was introduced. Who do you think have captured those positions? Co-caste. Obviously, who had the initial advantage to education, that is Brahmins. So mostly this जो middle class जो born है so who are they? These are this upper caste Brahmins. So just taller strata. Those who could avail education system. Understood? Start reading and analyzing and integrate those points. Okay. Acha, make a comparison of westernization. Two things. One is M.N. Srinivas. Another is Yogendra Singh. So according to M.N. Srinivas, it is only a cultural process, cultural change in Indian society. Okay, it is a cultural change in Indian society. Okay. And here, according to Yogendra Singh, it is both structural and cultural. Okay, it is both cultural and structural. He said that westernization has only positive impact. But here, he focused on both positive and negative impact. Okay. According to Yogendra Singh. सेम कॉन्सेप्ट डिफरेंट लोगों का डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव. विल कम टू दैट. ओके. अच्छा, स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज हाउ? He didn't categorically make any changes. Tell me structurally केमती हबो? Structure माने कौन? Indian society रे structure कौन? No. Structure means what? गोटे सोसाइटी रे structure mean कौन? Structural functionalist माने कौन स्टडी करथिले? क्लास कौन बुझुछ तुम माने? Structural functionalist. Who are the structural functionalists from paper 1? Talcott Parsons. Okay. Emile Durkheim. ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ broadly କ'ଣ ପଢ଼ିଲେ? They focused more on religion, which is universal across the world. So universal institutions ଉପରେ focus କଲେ. Universal means what? Marriage. It is uniform throughout the world. କୋଉ ritual follow କରୁଛେ that might be different across religion. Hindu might follow different religion or tradition when they are performing the act of marriage. But marriage as a social institution is universal across the world. Yes or no? So it is a permanent structure. When I say structure, that means the structures of the society means the institutions which are permanent in nature and uniform across the world. Like family, like religion. Religion meaning India re jaha, USA re bhi same. So these are the structures. Kono class caste limit hai yaucha. Please understand these keywords. Okay, so if I say cultural change means what? If I say cultural change as introduced by M.N. Srinivas, both in the concept of westernization and also Sanskritization. He didn't say there was any kind of structural change, but he focused on the cultural change. What is that? Please understand this key difference. Otherwise you will get confused. That means you are changing your ritual position only. Okay, khali ritually you are associating yourself to be a Brahmin. That doesn't mean that you do not belong to certain caste. Even if the lower caste, they will keep wearing this ritual thread. Okay, jada poita kanti. Do you think they will become Brahmin? No, they may get a higher respect that, they follow the religious traditions, or they may acquire a higher status in front of the Indian people that they visit all the pilgrimage. What a Brahmin, je ki bed and non-veg khautuba, as compared to a Shudra, who has visited all the 4 dhams of India. Kaha ko besi respect milega? Indian tradition wise? The lower caste who has visited all the pilgrimage, naturally. That is nothing but the process of Sanskritization. Khali cultural position e change asche. Structure e change asuni. Tama caste a higher caste hi jauni. Structural change setabale haba jetabale Brahmins will come to the lower strata and the lower caste will go to the upper strata. Understood? Structure. Caste as a structure can be both rigid and flexible. According to M.N. Srinivas, it is not a rigid structure, it is flexible. There can be social mobility through the process of westernization and Sanskritization. But G.S. Ghurye, who did subscribe to Indological method or who did subscribe to the book view, okay, he said that caste is a Varna system. That means it is a rigid structure. You cannot change your caste. There can be no social mobility. But M.N. Srinivas will differ from him. He will say that caste is flexible, but only in the ritual sphere, not in the structural format. Okay, understood? Please understand these keywords. Nahle pore bahut confusion haba. Apart from that, when it comes to westernization, he will say that it's a cultural change. How? You are acquiring knowledge. Okay, that means you are acquiring education. So what is Shudra or Vaishya, if the person acquires education, can change the ritual status? Kemti? Economic gain hava. If you are becoming a civil servant, what will happen? The society will see you in a higher status. Yes or no? You will acquire more money. That means you have access to economic opportunities. What a poor Brahmin versus one educated Vaishya, who is taken to be more superior in present context? Shudras. Okay, who is more educated? So it is that culturally you are, assigned a higher things. So all this changes, okay, be it education, be it modern education, which is bureaucracy or law, anything, okay. These are only, creating a shift or transition in your cultural aspect, not the structural aspect. Okay, but here Yogendra Singh will say that it is both cultural and structural. How? Again, he is not focusing on caste here, so don't get confused. He is focusing on the process of westernization. Okay, how? He will say that culture khali changes suni. The culture mostly is what? Value system. Okay, so he'll say that it is not just, acha, write down another point. According to M.N. Srinivas, westernization is a value loaded concept. Here write down, according to Yogendra Singh, westernization led to the process of modernization. Westernization led to the process of modernization. Please understand this key difference. So he will say that according to M.N. Srinivas, there is only cultural shift. That means value system re change asche. That's it. Okay, tama ritual position change ହେଇଯାଉଛି. Be it through education, be it through your new appointment to as a lawyer or as a bureaucrat, anything, you're just changing your ritual status. But your caste or anything stays as it is. Okay. But here, Yogendra Singh will say that there is also a structural change. How? पूरा totally new institution introduce होची. How? जो middle class never existed in Indian society. Okay, class system was not present in Indian society before the advent of Britishers. Please understand. It was only the caste system that divided the Indian society into 4 segments, or we can say a 5th segment also. That is Avanas or the untouchables. Okay, and essentially before the advent of Britishers, it was only the caste overlapped with class system. Jahara jo caste thila, tara sei class thila. How? If you remember the key definition of class is mostly merit based. Merit system thila ki? Merit system was introduced through education. Jahara jetiki merit, tara setiki job opportunities. Understand these things. Merit based system was introduced by these Britishers only. So class concept was introduced through the Britishers. So there was a structural change. Class nuwa class emergela, which is the middle class, which is the modern educated intelligentsia who led to the social reform movements. Please understand what I am trying to say. So nuwa structures introduced hela. Bureaucracy as an institution never existed in Indian society. Thila ki bureaucracy? It was not there. Acha, High Court, Supreme Court, lawyers, judges, egudaka nuwa mane law and order was completely a new structure that was introduced to Indian society. So that's why it is structural, according to Yogendra Singh. I'm not saying who is bad, who is good. Please understand sociology re good bad aspect hi nahi. Okay, it is only your perspective. Alright, question jetebale asiba, it may come what is westernization or views of M.N. Srinivas on Indian society. So you will be writing about all of it. Obviously, you won't get time to make a comparison of Yogendra Singh and M.N. Srinivas. But if the question comes on westernization specifically, then maybe you can add these points. Understood? But keywords jodi non rakhila, then it's difficult. So revise again and again. If you are having any doubts, please feel free to ask me.